stage last time. All right, so I started my position with 211 prior to the downturn in the economy. Every week, I answer hundreds of calls from people whose lives are in turmoil because of the recession. Over these past few years, I have noticed an increase in the number of calls from people who are struggling to afford the basic necessities of life, as basic as food or shelter or electricity. Employment plays a key role in being able to afford these basic necessities. More and more people are looking for job training, employment assistance, or other programs that can help them find work. Many of our calls are from first-time callers, people who have never had to ask for help before, or who are not even sure where to begin. These people come from all walks of life, and many feel ashamed to even be asking for help. These are seniors living on Social Security who cannot afford the cost of living. War veterans coming home from Iraq to realize they cannot provide for their family. Employers of established large and small businesses seeking services for the employees they will soon have to let go. People who are sick and cannot afford to take their medications because they cannot afford the copay or cannot even see a doctor. And the hundreds of people who are desperately seeking work, but their unemployment benefits have just run out. As challenging as it is to help people who are in distress, it is also incredibly rewarding to be able to help them. It is very common for a person to call 211 for help with one issue and end up being connected for a variety of additional services. Now I'd like to share a story with you. As 211 is a confidential service, let's name this call Lucy's Story. Lucy's story started 4 months prior to her calling 211. She and her husband, like any other couple, were self-sufficient, had a home. He had a good job that paid well, and they just found out they were expecting their first child. 4 months later, Lucy called 211, explaining that like most young couples, they were living paycheck to paycheck, and due to the recession, her husband lost his job. They lost their home, and they were now living on the street in their car. After assessing their situation, I soon discovered that not only did Lucy and her family need immediate shelter, but also prenatal care for their baby as well as maternity clothes for herself. 211 was able to provide Lucy with the necessary referrals. I contacted Lucy 3 days later to follow up with her. One of the agencies we had referred her to was able to provide her with a 30-day motel voucher at a local motel, after which they would place her and her family into a subsidized housing program. She also enrolled in the county medical program we had referred her to, and she had already set up an appointment for prenatal care. As well, she was able to get bus vouchers to get around town for medical appointments and for the job interviews her husband had already lined up. She was happy to report she had even found the maternity clothes. She said she had been calling agencies for help for the past few weeks without success. It wasn't until she called 211 that she was able to reach the help she was looking for. Her life had changed in 3 days by dialing 3 numbers, 211. Lucy's story is just one story of thousands. Thankfully, Lucy lives in a county that has a 211 service. Other counties are not as fortunate. Millions of American families have lost their jobs, their homes, and their livelihood. Millions more know they are just one budget cut or medical expense away from the same fate. 211 is so important for helping families survive and recover from this recession. It is hard to ask for help, but I am glad that there is 211 to help people navigate their way back to hope and dignity once again. I ask Congress to take action and pass this bill to provide all counties and every person in California with this valuable service. Thank you.
That was great.
Just like you were there.
Do any of you have any comments or questions? Joan?